Hi, thank you so much for joining me today. This is Jenny O. Yah with Nuggets and Things. Want to share a little bit about to you today. Want to share about, having humility, to be humble. A lot of times, you have powers that has been invested in you, powers that you have been given. And sometimes we use those powers, just because we have them, we become, careless with them, right? Sometimes pompous. Oh my gosh. Ugh. Sometimes you talk to people who are very pompous, arrogant, right? And full of pride. And because of the fact they have the power, somebody who's in a position, they could be in a position to be able to do something, right? And they constantly remind you of their position. Well, I have the power to fire you. I have the power, to let you go. I have the power to demote you. I have the power, to what for whatever it may be, right? They use their power and they use it very arrogantly, right? And it's very unattractive to me. It's just, what I love, when people have humility, are humble. Sometimes you meet people and have no idea of the position that they hold, who they really are, because they're not walking around, being pompous, proud for, like, really. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being proud. You should be proud of who you are, but not to the point where you're being arrogant and you're trying to look down on someone else because of your position. Now that's not attractive at all. I like people to come to you, and you don't have to know, where they live, where they work, what they do. They're just being, just being. But, from time to time, you meet somebody, that because, they think, you know, I had someone talk to me one time, and they start talking to me condescendingly, right? Like I can't understand them because they've had so many years of education at some place, right? Or state, they have these papers on the wall, right? I said, how them papers you paid for, baby? You pay for them. I mean, you know, you know, but they talk to you condescendingly like you don't know anything based on the fact that they've been somewhere. They went to this particular place. They know these people, whatever it may be. And, and they're talking to you in a way in which they think you cannot understand. And then, the whole time they're talking, in essence now, if they really could, check you for where you are, you know, they still behind. They still behind, because intelligence, honey, is something that you're 9 times out of 10, you're just born with being intelligent, right? Being educated and being intelligent, sometimes are two different things, honey. Two different birds, baby, on two different planets. Some people think because they're educated that they're also intelligent. But honey, I beg to differ. Honey. I know some people that are highly educated. But honey, intelligence is not their forte, right? And there are people, who are, off the wall, intelligent and have not been anywhere for no education, if you go through, even going through our history, people who, didn't get a chance to know how to read, could not write, but honey, they could invent and they could do, and they have the ability to do so many things. One of my greatest stars that I really was fascinated with, because I am attracted to people who are intelligent. So when people talk intelligently to me, it's a thing for me, right? So Terrence Howard, one of the people that I listen to a lot, because now he can talk to you, honey, and he's somewhere else. He's on a total different planet, talking to a whole lot of different people on that particular planet, because he's somewhere else, right? But just to hear him talk about the physics and a different, way in which he can explain things to you. And when he finished explaining it to you, sometimes you're still lost, right? But just knowing that somebody has been invested with that kind of intelligence, AI is still trying to keep up with him because he's real deal, right? And he's just an example of somebody I just want to throw out there, right? But I'm saying, sometimes when people meet you, and they try to grade you on where they think you are based on where they think they are, right? And oh my gosh, don't they miss you, honey? Don't they miss you? They walk away, kind of like, with a strut, and you're kind of like trying to hold your laughter in, right? It's like a giggle, like you just like, I know they didn't think that they really, gave, taught me a lesson or two, right? But we got to watch everything that we do. Never get to a place that you feel as though that you're in a position, because of where you think you came from, who you think your family, all this stuff that people use. And just realize, you're awesome just because you are. Just because you are. I have a grandson. Oh my gracious. Honey, when he go talking to you, you get lost. You hear me? Because he's somewhere else. He's somewhere else now. He's somewhere else. But he knows exactly what he's talking about. I'm just not on that same planet with him. And that's not, I'm not saying this to be, humorous. I'm saying that his intelligence hits areas that, that I'm not connected to. But this is where he is. And somebody else can be talking to you on this level. Because see, you ain't everywhere. I don't care how smart you think you are. You don't know everything. There's always somebody who can educate you. And the day you cannot be educated, honey, you have lost your way. Because we should always be ready to learn, for someone to fill our cups. We also will be in a position for downloads. A download is somebody pouring into us and allowing us to be able to receive information that's going to be important to us, right? And it's important that we are open for those things, right? Those areas in our life. Okay? So don't ever get to a place that you allow anybody to make you feel you're incompetent, less than, whatever the word you might want to use, because of where they have been and what they have done. I saw on one of my positions one day, a man came into the building, had on a pair of overhauls, he pulled up in, average vehicle. He pulled up and he walked in and he purchased a Cadillac, beautiful Cadillac, right? And he walked out the door. Somebody said, "Well, Miss Jenny, you know who that was?" I said, "No, that's old money. That's what they call them. That's old money." I said, "Oh, what does that mean?" Right? They said, "He owns half of this town." I said, "Really?" Never would know it based on how he looked. And he never came. He didn't come in like he owned most of the town. He came in humbly, right? He paid, cash for his vehicle and walked back out. Somebody delivered his vehicle to him a couple of days later. But I'm saying to you, what you are and who you are, your wealth, honey, is in your health. Your wealth is in your intelligence. Your wealth is in your integrity. Your wealth is in, the light of your soul, honey. That's your wealth, baby. It's not what you have in your bank account. It's not what you drive. It's not the city, or the town or the subdivision you live in, or because you own 200 acres of land. That's not your wealth, honey. Because there are people who own all of that and still are not wealthy when it comes down to their living ability. People who are wealthy, they get sick. They have all kinds of other problems. They have all kinds of addictions. So, that does not make you, oh my gosh, to have your mind centered, to be in a place where you can speak to somebody and feel the love and the presence of that person, I had the pleasure of going into a doctor's office. And I went into the doctor's office and, I went in very apprehensive, right? Because y'all already know how I feel. So I wasn't feeling good going into it. Not, physically not feeling good. I'm talking about mentally. I wasn't feeling good because I didn't like the arena in which I was going into, right? And so a lady came from the back and she called me Love. She says, "Hi, Love, how you doing?" And I said, "I'm doing wonderful. How about yourself?" I'm trying to be cordial, right? Because my mind still wasn't there now. And so, she spoke to me. I got my paperwork filled out. And one of the nurses called me in the back room to do my vitals, and things wasn't looking good. And I said, it's okay. She says, oh, your pressure's high. I said, yeah, I know. I said, but good news is, honey, heart still beating, baby, still beating. Right? And she says, okay. And we got talking, right? And she went to laughing, right? And I left her office and I went and talked to my doctor, my primary, and not my primary, but the doctor, specialist. And they were talking to me, and she was telling me, this, that, and the other, right? And I said, yeah, I understand. I know. She says, well, you really need to think about getting on some medication. I says, nah. I says, I don't came too far, honey. I said, I don't came too far. I said, now, if you can find me some medication now that doesn't have any side effects, you got me. I said, now, if you got some medication that I can take that's not going to mess with my liver, my kidneys, or any other parts of my body, I'm going to leave this office and start going to see another specialist because the medication is starting to affect that particular part of my body. If you can do that, honey, you sign me up. I'm ready. I said, other than that, this is where I am. Right? She said, well, I just want you to think about it because, you really not, I said, honey, look, I've heard this for a long time. People have told me. They have, basically you have announced to me and, kind of said, your lifespan ain't going to be long. I said, honey, I've lived long right now, versus a lot of my friends, some of my family, and, people who I've known. I've outlived them. I said, and I told this, now this is what I told the doctor. I said, I don't understand this. How is it, that we think, but I'm saying, I'm saying to her, I'm saying, look, I said, a part of living is leaving here. I said, everybody has an appointment. Everybody's going to leave here. There is nobody that's going to be here permanently. This is a temporary visit. We got this temporary house. This right here is a temporary house, honey. You know what I'm saying? You get this house, present me a body. This is the body that I was given. But honey, like a car, it needs help every once in a while. The tires ain't good. You got to get a tune-up done, all this kind of stuff. And you expect that because, the mileage, honey. I got some mileage on me. I'm in my pretty 60s, So nothing you can say to me is going to take me off track from what I believe. And see, don't mess with my belief system, honey. Don't mess with my belief system. I understand where you are. And I told her this, right? I said, you are a medical team. And I understand you must practice medicine. I'm not mad with you. Because I really liked her. Ain't a lot of doctors I like, but I liked her. I said, I understand where you are, but I want you to be introduced to who I am. There's nothing you can say to me that's going to change my mind about my belief system, right? I've been told many times. My first doctor told me in 83, if I didn't take this medicine, that, for the rest of my life, right, that I would not make it. I never took the medicine. In 83, I was in my 20s. 40-some years later, here I am. They took me to the hospital. They lost me. And they told me I need to have a blood transfusion, and I denied it. I said, you cannot guarantee me the blood, hasn't been tainted. You can't guarantee it. So no. Well, you're not going to make it through the night. I said, I understand. I said, look, hey, I ain't expect to stay here forever. Right? This is probably over 25 years ago. I'm still here, So now you're telling me that this is happening. I'm okay. I said, honey, I'm good wherever I am, right? And when she was talking to me, she says, well, look, in the Bible, she said, because you're a believer, right? I said, yeah, I'm a believer. You don't know what I'm believing in, right? But I'm just saying, yeah, I'm a believer. She said, well, Luke was a doctor. I said, yeah, he was. You're right. I said, I still ain't taking no medicine, right? Because see, what she didn't understand was Luke was a doctor. But you never seen where he prescribed any medication to nobody. I ain't never seen it. Now, if y'all seen it, make a comment, honey. Put a comment down there and say, at Acts 4 or 5, whatever you found it at, tell me where Luke prescribed a pill or some medication to somebody. You tell me that now, And I would go back to her and tell her, write me a prescription, you know? But I'm going on that to just come back to this. This office gave me something that I needed, right? They were so open to me. And the love that they gave to me, I mean, they just radiated me. It's like they charged me up, right? And so I had to go back in the next day to bring some paperwork, from my records, right? And when I brought the records things in, the first thing they said to me was, gosh, your aura, this and the other. And they pepped me up. And I was like, wow. So today, I thought about them. And even though I don't celebrate the holidays as most do, I said, I'm going to buy them, some donuts, right? And so I bought them a couple dozen of donuts and I brought it to the office with a card. The card is what I want them to see. The donuts was something I wanted them to enjoy. Okay. But the card was basically saying, I thank y'all, for giving me what I needed so I could keep coming back here because I really didn't want to come back. But because they welcomed me, it caused me to melt some of that rigidness I had, about being in the doctor's office. And so those things mean a lot. And so today, even through battles, right? Even through, tests and trials, I know that no matter what happens, what goes, what comes, right? My belief is still strong. Ain't I looking good, y'all? Stop now. I'm looking good. And when people meet me, they see what I want them to see. The smile, the joy, the love, the presence, right? You ain't got to know I'm overweight, honey. Oh, Lord have mercy. You ain't got to know what my weight is, how much I weigh. You don't need to know, what my creatinine is, all this kind of stuff, right? When people meet you, they ain't trying to get your medical records. They just want to know who you are, And when you're humble, and being humble means you have power, honey. You got power to do a lot of things. And our body has the power to heal itself. A lot of times what happens to our bodies is the fact that we don't take the best care of it, right? The food that we're eating, you already know, foods that we ate 20 years ago ain't the same food today, right? It don't taste the same. It's not made the same way. So we're fighting that component. The food is differently, right? They have a lot of fast food restaurants, which you ain't got to worry about that. Now, sugar don't play that now. She ain't trying to hit them places, right? But I'm saying, our biggest problem a lot of time is, the foods that we eat and things that you like, right? A little bit too much salt or hot sauce, whatever it may be, So when you don't went off off the road, you don't messed up, the first thing you got to do, what is it going to take to get me back on, the right road, right? So I'm on this journey, y'all. I'm on this journey, and you can write it down today. This is my journey today. But now I'm expecting to change what was said to me, right? And I'm expected, to do what I know I need to do, work my little piece of magic, honey. Everybody say, girl, you're a healer. I said, the healers sometimes need to be healed. You hear me? Honey, please. I said, but let me tell you something. This is just another test on this journey, right? I want you to know that whatever you're doing to make your life great, so you can be awesome and you can bounce around here the way you bounce, honey, you do that. And I told my children, honey, look, honey, I said, I'm going to live my life to the fullest. However long life is, it's to the fullest, honey. I'm going to do everything I want to do, go where I want to go, right? So I went back in today and they said, how you feel? I said, honey, I feel great. I said, now, based on your little machines, now I probably ain't going to say the same thing. The doctor said, hold my hand. She said, we're going to touch and agree that everything's going to be all right. I said, okay. So she touched my hand. We went, praying, right? Touching, agreeing with me, right? And I appreciate that, because you don't get doctors like that all the time. But I also know this, honey. I'm already, canceling a whole lot of stuff. You hear me what I'm saying? Hmm. So, humility, baby. Be humble. You got power. You got power to change a lot of things. You got power to do a lot of things, but some things you must just humble yourself. I think it says, humble yourself under the mighty hands of God, and He will exalt you in due season. Something awesome will happen in the middle of everything. It will, always does. Do you believe that? You better. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is Jenny Oya. I'm on a journey, honey, for better health. Better health. I think I'm healthy too, y'all. I think I'm healthy. But whew, I never know how unhealthy I am till I go to the doctor's office. Ain't that crazy? Yeah. Say la vie. You have an awesome day today. Be awesome. Be great. Let your life forever shine. Do all that you know how to do. Be everything you know you need to be. And don't let nobody stop you from being you. Okay? Keep me up. Lift it. Hey, subscribe if you have not. Thumbs up, Yeah, give us, it ain't going to hurt you to put a thumbs up now. Just a thumbs up, honey. I'm not gonna stalk you. I ain't gonna chase behind and see who did it. I just thumbs up. That's all. Just to encourage a sister, let her know she's doing something right. Okay. I love you. You have an absolutely great day, because I know I am. Love you.